Hey, everybody. Hi, you listening, watching. Welcome to the Christel Crawford Show. I'm beyond thrilled to be here today. I don't even know. What did I call this week's episode? Receiving. Receiving, the source of all change. Wow. So this show got stimulated from a question that somebody asked me in my current series, which is called 14 Days of Listening and Listening to and Learning to Trust Your Body. So if you're listening to this in the future, you can obviously go into the shop and grab that. It's a low-cost series and really a phenomenal introduction to listening to and trusting your body. However, her question wasn't limited to just conversations about your body. So I'm building this whole episode around it. And let me start with what her question was. Her body is doing an autoimmune disease. And her question was basically like, how do I get rid of this? My body created it. How do I get rid of it? And as I looked at that question, something happened. I don't know, like the world opened, the bottom dropped out. I was like, we need to actually talk about this getting rid of thing, because I cannot tell you, hi Dealina, how many people that I have in my world, in my classes, on a moment-by-moment basis who come into the class wanting to get rid of something. And so I'm a little bit hopped up about it, so this is going to be fun. Hi, Suzanne. Here's one of the very first things you need to know. If you ever hear yourself saying, or you're ever functioning from the point of view of like, I need to get rid of this. How do I get rid of this thing? Okay. Hi, Nina. You've got to know that everything that comes out of your mouth reveals where you're functioning from. Now that's a gift. Don't let that scare you. That's a gift. Like, and everything that doesn't come out of your mouth reveals your point of view. But when you start to get involved in access consciousness stuff and you start to ask more questions, hi Preeti, hello, hi Reshma. That's the gift. It's like what you say starts to reveal where you're functioning from. Now, what are you functioning from when you start to when you're saying, I want to get rid of this thing? What's the energy that you're functioning from right underneath that? I literally just want you to look at that for a minute. How do I get rid of this thing? Now, are you functioning from allowance for you? Are you functioning from awareness? Are you functioning from honoring you, from trusting you, from being vulnerable with you, from being grateful for you? Or are you functioning from something else in the I want to get rid of? Hi, Dominique. Hi, Malini. Hello, Nicoletta. Nice to see you guys. And thank you for saying hi. And I'm so glad you're here. What are you functioning from when you say, I want to get rid of this thing? Is it allowance or judgment? And who are you judging? Are you judging everybody else, or are you judging you? How do I get rid of this? Now, listen, don't misunderstand me. I know that so much of what we handle and that goes on in our worlds is intense. I know, because I'm one of you guys. Like, you and I are not the same. Hey, Miss Amanda, we're not the same, but we're the same in the sense that we have a level of awareness that is off the charts, and none of us were educated. I mean, did you go to How to Handle Your Awareness 101 in high school, or did you go to home economics, or none of the above and skip school? I didn't get How to Handle Your Awareness 101 in high school, right? So here's the information you weren't given. Your body is a sensory organism. It picks up energies from 8 to 8,000 miles in every single direction. And I would say for some of you, it picks up energies from 8 to 800,000 million miles in every single direction. That is unfathomable. And you don't have to believe me. You simply have to engage in a little 3-day challenge that we call the Who Does It Belong To challenge, where you literally, for every single thought, feeling, and emotion and point of view and sensation in your body, you get present with it and go, are you mine? Are you mine? Are you mine? Are you my mother? Are you my mother? Did you guys ever read that little book where the little duck goes around and asks everybody if they're his mother? And he finally goes up to a tractor or a backhoe, and he's like, are you my mother? He's, I'm not your mother. I'm a backhoe. That's what I'm reminded of every single time I talk about who does it belong to. So, welcome to my brain. So you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me that you're aware of that much. Did you guys see my hair? I did a braid. Okay, you just have to simply be willing to play. So if you need want a guided little Who Does It Belong To challenge, there's two things you can do. You can get it from the App Store, and you can go to my website, and there's a little $15 3-day guided challenge in there that's just awesome with an incredible guided energy exercise at the end. ChrystelJoyCrawford.com. Now, of course, I'm losing my way here. So your body is a sensory organism. Number one. Number two, your body has a healing capacity. Now, when I say capacity, I don't mean like your body has a Gucci purse. I mean like your body is a healing body. Again, you don't have to believe. I don't even want you to believe me. Never, ever fucking take what anybody says as fact. Always go, does this make me lighter? Okay, if it doesn't make you lighter, it's not true for you. If it makes you lighter, true for you. So you can also ask, like, does my body have a healing capacity? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, cool. Wow. What does that mean? Might be your next question. Well, here's the thing about being something. It would be like an elephant having an existential crisis going, what does it mean to be an elephant? I don't know. I don't know. I've got this trunk and this tail and I'm so big and I crush turtles when I walk and I don't mean to crush the turtles. I like the turtles are my friend, but what does it mean to be an elephant? You know, elephants don't do that. They just continue being elephants. So us going into an existential crisis about what it means to be a healer is a little bit silly, although it doesn't seem silly because that's what we do. But it just means you've got to get that this is how your body functions. Now, again, I didn't get put into like how to be a healer 101. Did you? So like there was all this stuff we should have been taught, but we weren't. So does your body heal? Does your body heal without your permission? Does it just do it? It's like it just is. It's a healing body. It just goes into healing things and doing things, okay? Yes. Now, I'm going to get to the point of why you got to start to look at all this. This is important. From all the way from how do I get rid of this to, okay, you have a healing body. Number 53 is, do you have abilities with the spirit world? This is not a spirit world video. However, the spirit world is included in the universe of awareness. Do you include it? Do you have abilities of being aware of the earth? Did you go to being aware of the earth 101? Like none of this we were shown, right? So it's like your body has these abilities for awareness. Number one, all of those and more. Number two, lost it. So when you go into, for example, let's take number one. Let's go back to number one since I lost number two and go, can you get rid of something you are? So I know it's very popular right now to be in the conversation of like transgender and cisgender and like transitioning and all that stuff. And I'm not making fun. It's just gotten really extreme in the labeling of everything for everybody to feel like they're included, which could occur if everybody would just choose to be included. But I digress. So there's a lot of people, a section of people looking to actualize how they feel on the inside onto the outside of their body, right? They want their organs to match what they think they are. That's a whole other video. But where I'm going with that is like, where am I going with that? I can't keep a train of thought today to save my life. I don't know where I was going with that. Damn, hopefully that'll come back. Okay, so can you get rid of what you are? Okay, cool. So maybe you can get surgery to correct or to amend or to change certain gender things. Do you ever fully get rid of that you came into this life as a woman? Like you came into this embodiment as a woman if you go into being a man? No, your body is just naturally in this lifetime created to be a woman. So you're always going to be combating, fighting, your body's natural tendencies to be a woman if you change into being a man. Now, the same thing is true of like if you come into this world as a healer. If you don't acknowledge it, and by acknowledging I mean get it, start to get it. It's like I heal, my body heals. That's what it does. I walk around this house in this world as a healer. That's what I am. Am I functioning as what I am, or am I trying to get rid of what naturally occurs for me as a healing body? That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, cool. Is that going to work? Because it'd be like an elephant trying to get rid of like elephant stuff. I don't even know. Like, I don't know how to draw that parallel, but it's like, are you seeing the kind of the craziness of it? Like an elephant can't get rid of being an elephant. He's an elephant. He could have a surgery to shrink him down to maybe the size of a, I don't know. They could do some crazy ass surgery on him, but he would always be at the base of him naturally an elephant. We are at the base of ourselves naturally these incredibly aware sensory beings. You can cut off an elephant's trunk, but he's still going to be an elephant, and that's going to hurt him. Is that what you really want to do? You can cut off these abilities that you have and never be aware of them and never play with them and never fully engage with them. But is that going to give you access to what you are? Like an elephant is at his best when he's being fully elephant, right? And then you know what to kind of what you're dealing with. Elephants are big and, you know, gentle and wide, all these things, right? From observing elephants, we know that. Have you fully observed you in your natural habitat? Or have you, formed yourself out of a necessity and survival and got here, and now you're handling all these different things that are showing up in your body and in your life and going, I just want to get rid of it, So if it doesn't work to get rid of something, it only works to engage with it, receive it, transform it, transmute it. What would you need to change and choose that's different? Resisting, avoiding, negating, all that stuff doesn't work. It just actually holds it all in place. I mean, it ensures that you hurt. And for some people, hurting is the ultimate. That's the best thing. And I don't mean that as a slam. I mean like some people need to hurt. So maybe you're one of those people, and that's okay. You just stop listening and carry on and go keep hurting. It's okay. You're included. But if you truly want to change something, if what you really want is true change at the root, not just a Band-Aid, not just the fix that's going to make you feel better. If you want a fix that's just going to make you feel better, go have a shot. And that doesn't always work. Or, take a class that's going to make you feel good for a couple of days and then go back to being what it is. But if you want true change, there's a receiving that has to take place. There is a surrendering that has to take place. There is a working with, discovering, adventuring that has to take place. So what would that be for you? Let me give you an example most recent in the last 48 hours. You know how I've been, if you've been following the show, you know how I've been talking a lot about reaction and this thing I do with reaction. So in the last 48 hours, something occurred. Andreas and I were having a conversation, and he was asking me about one thing, and then he said another thing, and at that energy of that other thing, all this energy showed up in my body, and I was like, wait a minute. And what followed was a 24-hour period or a 1-hour period where I got more intense than I've been in a really long time. And it was a very interesting mix of incredible just fire potency with some like conclusions and distractor implants. And it was bizarre because it wasn't bizarre, it was different. I could see it all, like I perceive it all. I could perceive where it was just clarion potency, and I could perceive the distractor implants, which are these things that are intended to distract you from the choices you have. Living Beyond Distraction is your book, if that's your thing. But what's my point? So I have been going after this intensity of reaction for a while now. You guys have heard me talk about it. What occurred in the last 48 hours is I started to get a really, really different awareness. Now, again, from the point of view that this thing is a problem and I'm doing something that's unconscious and I'm doing things in a way that I don't like, that I want to be different, from those points of view, I always have to look at that choice or those moments that I would lump into, okay, I just had another reactive moment. I always have to look at those as a problem or as something I'm doing that's unconscious, right? Which is what I was doing. This moment occurred in such a different way that I was able to really go, wait a minute, was it just reaction or was it something else? And I got something else. And as I started to really be present with it, because one of the gifts of continuing to use the Access Consciousness tools is that you will stop judging yourself as much, which is a great gift as you're looking at the things you're choosing. You just won't judge them. You're choosing them, but you're not judging them. And so that gives you access to a lot more information. And if you're struggling with judging, just use the tool, interesting point of view. I have this point of view for 3 full days for every single thing that comes out of your head towards yourself, okay? Now, so I was, there was space there to really look at this. And I'm like, did I just react or something else? Something else. Okay, cool. And as I was talking it through with a friend of mine, what I recognized was that what showed up was this incredible potency to create a totally different future that would not have been available had that potency not shown up. He and I took it to some places that were old for both of us. We reacted to each other and defended, and there was some insanity in there, but the source of it was this potency to create a change. Now, as I looked at that with awareness, going, okay, cool, that's what this was, I started to recognize that what occurs for me in the moment right before this reaction thing I've been trying to change, right? I want to get rid of this. I want to change this. What occurs for me in the moment right before is awareness. Now, I might have known that before, but I got it in a different way. I instantly get an awareness of like, this has to change right now. And then I go to jump to conclusions and take it I do this other thing with it many times. But what I got more access to was the capacity that I have for awareness, which is intense. It's an intense capacity. I am instantly, immediately aware that something is off. Instantly. And it's so fast. It's so fast. I am so fast that, I don't even know what to say about it. I'm so fast, period. So when you're not educated about the way you function, it's like, it would have been, like if we had gone through kind of humanoid school as kids, right? We would have been told, hey, you're going to be really fast and you're going to get all these downloads of awareness and you're not going to know what to do with them. Just go for the ride and like ask some questions, and here's some questions you can ask, and just keep your mouth shut so that you can give yourself a little space. And like, there would have been all this education around how to function here as a super aware little being, right? So again, we didn't get that. We got geometry. So now as we're choosing and getting awareness, because choice creates awareness, we're engaging in creating our lives and, like creating our businesses, creating stuff. So we're getting lots of information, and this is living is the adventure of getting information and choosing again. We now get to discover how things work for us. And as I sat with this over the last 48 hours, I was like, God damn, like the amount of information I receive and the speed at which it comes and the amount of intensity that I have available to me to create a totally different future in about a microsecond is intense. Cool. Amazing. So what I've been asking myself from that space is, what would it take to get greater access to that? And greater access, because here's the thing. If you get greater access to how aware you are, for example, you're going to go to fewer conclusions when something occurs. You're going to have greater access to it. I'm just aware. I'm not fucked up. I'm not, nope, this is awareness. What is this? What can I do with it? If I'd had greater access to that moment right before I went into all the other stuff that I did, and then he did, it was like this convergence of insanity, but it was right before that, there was awareness. If I had greater access to, okay, I'm aware of something here. What is that? What can I do with it? Can I change it? then all of a sudden I have greater access to my creative ability with my awareness rather than my insane ability with my awareness, which is what I've had more access to in the past. So with whatever it is that you guys are dealing with that you've told yourself you want to get rid of, look at it different. Am I looking at this as a problem? Yes or no? First of all, get that. If this wasn't a problem, if what is occurring right now, whether it's intensity in your body, disease in your body, difficulty in your relationships, difficulty in money, if this wasn't a problem, what capacity is this that I haven't explored yet? I'm going to give you another example with money. Actually, let me read. Dialina, what do you do when you've jumped to conclusion and you've passed that point of no return? You just say, what can I do to make up for the damage done? And you go back and you really look at, when did the awareness occur and what did I do with it and what could I choose next time? Because what you're going to start to build for yourself is a couple of things. You're going to start to acknowledge you. That's something we weren't shown to do. You're going to start to acknowledge you as the super aware being you are. You're going to start to recognize more and more and more when awareness occurs. And every single time, right before you go into insanity, awareness has occurred, just so you know. The more you recognize that, the more you strengthen that understanding, that reality in your world, that reality that you're an aware being, not a fucked up being, right? So start to look at these things and go, wait a minute, if I wasn't trying to fix where I fucked up and I was looking for what I was aware of and when, what could be different? Here's an example with money. I don't know the time frame now, but around like 2016, I transformed my reality with money. I got myself to I just kept getting myself into these hard situations with money where I could create a lot of money, but then I would spend it all and then I would have less than zero and then I would create again. And so it was this cyclical epic hand to mouth reality. And I was in another one of my downward, money was draining. I had to pay this huge amount of rent and moments. And I was going through it. It was like 2 months of just trauma and drama around money. And I was a certified facilitator. I'm facilitating other people around money and I should have my shit together. Did not have my shit together. And then woke up one morning, and this happened a few times, but this particular morning woke up and I looked in the mirror. It always happens in the bathroom, right? Always these epic moments in the bathroom. And I was like, this is changing today. I don't give a fuck what it takes. I am changing this today. I'm having money today and I'm changing this today. So I chose two things. I chose to message a bunch of people, and because I was doing pride and arrogance and I'm too good for this and da-da-da. I messaged a bunch of people and I was like, if you need anything, I'm for hire. Created like $2,500 out of that. And the second thing was I made a demand of myself that I was going to go through the How to Become Money workbook every single week until this fucking changed. Until I absolutely fundamentally changed the platform from which I was functioning with money, because that was the one thing I had never chosen. I had chosen to engage in creation. I had chosen to like create some money. I had never chosen to change my platform. So I fucking just made a different demand. And within 8 weeks of going through that workbook every single week, and I'm talking 4 hours of workbook, I started to function different. So that demand changed the future, history, because that's why we're here now. But going through that workbook, one of the things that really stood out to me and has never left me was this. The guy that Gary is channeling, Roz, who delivers most of this transcripted class, says to the class participant that, paraphrased, you keep negating the power that it took you to create the pile of shit you call your financial reality, instead of recognizing that it was power that created it. And if you can create a pile of shit, you can create something magnificent. You just haven't chosen it yet. And it took me probably 8, 9, 10, 20, 30 times of reading that, because I've now gone through the workbook about 35 times, to really get it. But I started to really get it. And that's another phenomenal example of I just want to get rid of my money problem being incorrect. You don't have a money problem. You have a power that you've used to create a shitty money reality that if you used it to create a great money reality, could actualize it. Because if you can create a shitty reality, you can create a great reality. You just have literally never looked at what it would take. You've literally never chosen it. And that's it. So as I started to get that, I just was like, fuck. And it took some strength because it was a little bit like turning the Titanic inside of myself. Like it felt hard, but not like hard from this is going to take years, but just hard from like, I was so committed to creating shit. And as you guys are honest with yourself about the things you're creating, you'll notice that. The only person who can keep you on track with creating anything is you. So if you've been creating shit in an area, like you're strong as fuck and you're committed to that. So like, as I was looking at how committed I was to being limited, it was like prying my cold dead fingers off a bar that I'd been holding on to for like eons, you know, and I was so determined. So I'd like pried my fingers off and I'm like, what would it take to be willing to create something great? And it was interesting because it was like those muscles were rusty as I started looking at what it would take to create something great. What was great for me? What was succeeding for me? What would it even take? What would I have to institute, you know? But it wasn't like the ability wasn't there. It was just like I hadn't used it in a while. And by a while, I mean like trillions of years. You know, it was like, I don't know, the Tin Man being rusted or rained on for centuries, you know, and all of a sudden he's like, I can talk, but how does that work again? So it sort of felt like that. But I just kept forcing myself to like choose this other way of using my power with money. And today I have a totally different financial reality. It's not remotely the same. I have money. I'm invested. Money is growing. I'm accumulating money. I've paid off my debt. There's a totally different reality. But that came from recognizing I am power. And I am just as much power in creating destruction as I am power in creating success. I am power. So whatever it is I choose to put my attention on is going to actualize. So how do I want to use my power? How do I want to use me? The power that I am, the awareness that I am, the money that I am that. Just because I've been pretending I'm not doesn't mean that I'm not it. And that is what began to empower me to create a totally different reality. So everything you've been trying to get rid of is you disempowering you, is you taking away from you the power that is to create a different reality. And I'm not talking about force. Sometimes when you're changing tracks, you know, you need the strength of you, the tenacity of you to continue to choose in a new direction. Sure. But that's not force, that's choice, and that's strength. I'm talking about choice and strength and also the receiving of what it is that it is, not what you've decided it is. Just because you've decided you have to get rid of something does not mean that that thing is a problem. That's just what you've decided about it. What would it take to be willing to go exploring into that power? What power is this? Now, I get it. There's some really intense things we're handling, and I'm pretty sure I said that at the beginning. Some of you have a lot of physical pain. Some of you are dealing with a lot of emotional intensity, a lot of feeling intensity, a lot of physical intensity. Okay, cool. So how much power are you that you've never been willing to claim, own, acknowledge, use, explore? And what if you were willing? I can't possibly know what that's going to be like for you, and neither can you. All you have to be, though, is willing to go adventuring into that power. If you can powerfully create a crippled body, you can powerfully create something else. If you can powerfully create disease, you can powerfully create something else. If you can powerfully create poverty, you can powerfully create something else. And I know this doesn't seem like a receiving conversation on the surface of it, but look below the surface. What would you have to receive about you in order to change this, to create a different reality? accessconsciousness.com/Christel Crawford if you want more. See you next week.